Jumbo fellow adventurers, Mike Dooley, happy Monday. Let's get going. Facebook, crank it up, hang in there. Instagram, we are live. Today's Monday, the day before the US presidential elections, and I thought I would do my final dive into A Beginner's Guide to the Universe, speaking back on chapter 1, Why the Sun Rises. Really simply, in as few words as possible, fewer words than the book, the reason the sun rises is because we live our lives in paradise. The reason it rises is because we are loved and adored. The reason it rises is because we are God Almighty, come alive in the dream of life, here to rock and roll. The reason the sun rises is you. You're not an afterthought. You are the first thought. You are the prime mover. You are God here to experience the bounty of her creativity. And so in this first book, this first chapter of my greatest book, written for my daughter for when she's an adult, I talk about these basic, simple understandings that will give you power. And because we're still we're within the first week of its release as a paperback, I'm still celebrating. Thank you almost all of you, it seems like, all of my regulars have already bought a copy of the book, according to things you have shared. If you buy the book today, and tomorrow's the last day, we have some major bonuses at tut.com, link below on Facebook, swipe up in my bio for Instagram, including Wednesday night, the night after our US presidential elections. I'm giving a talk on the dawn of enlightenment to kind of debrief, digest, and buckle in for an amazing new 4 years with great leadership in the United States. Okay, so let me start my readings. Here we go, picking up where I left off last time. Most of these, if you're new, are brief passages that were originally notes from the universe. No matter how long you ignore life's magic or unwittingly swim against its current, the instant you stop struggling, you'll be back in the flow, the prodigal child returned home, inheritance fully restored. More than you could possibly imagine awaits you when we stop struggling against the universe. Release, let go, float to the surface. Life delights in carrying you along. The story of the prodigal child, you must know it by now, but it's the wayward son from the Bible, a biblical story, who leaves home and says, Dad, I don't need your fortune, got this on my own, makes a big mess of everything, comes back and says, Dad, can I have my place back in home? And much to the chagrin of his goody two-shoes brother, the father throws open the doors and says, yes, my child, come back. We're going to have a big party tonight. In that instant that you return to truth, the floodgates of joy and friends and clarity, health and healing are restored. Your inheritance, your rightful inheritance, everything under the sun is restored. So it doesn't matter how far you got off track. Today could be the day. There are 3 things you need to know about angels. They're real. Some exist to serve you. They can do the most when you ask them for help. Oh my God, am I a big time believer in angels since meeting one of my besties, Lorna Byrne. And in fact, we're now doing enrollment for a 21-day angel adventure. Go to tut.com, check it out. Next, just because you're a supernatural, unstoppable creator doesn't mean you can't have friends on your team who help you out from time to time. You don't have to do it alone. You're not supposed to do it alone. You've got invisible team members and you've got friends. You got me. Post what you need. Shout it out. Don't be shy. We're all in this together. Just because you're amazing doesn't mean you can't be helped. Avoid gray areas. Therein, the pathway to safety and comfort is guarded by the unreliable half-truths of maybe, sometimes, and I don't know. Life is absolute, and its principles are exacting in all things. there is a truth. This one resonates with me so much. Maybe it's my left brain, chartered accountant, CPA, analytical debit and credit mind. But I love that stuff, and I love objectivity, and I love parsing and dicing, and I've never liked gray areas. That doesn't mean there isn't infinite room for subjectivity in the adventure of life. But never think that that subjectivity spills over into the absolute truths that make this paradise possible. Your thoughts become things. There's nothing subjective about it. It's not an ever a part-time thing. You are loved and adored, pushed on to greatness 24/7. Opportunity never stops knocking, whether you believe it or not. And these pillars that make life on earth possible can be banked on. Never think, well, maybe. Never think, if God thinks it's all right. Never think, depends on the universe's time frame. Blah, 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 blah. It's never going to happen. You decide. You're it, the Mac Daddy, Mac Mama of whatever your heart desires. Don't give your power away to gray areas, I don't knows, and maybes. See everything through truth's light, and you'll never know sadness, lack, or limits. You'll see that you are safe, bathed in love, surrounded by admirers in both the physical and spiritual realms. You'll see only beauty, perfection, and meaning. And you'll realize that just as the stark contrasts of time and space may seem to imprison you, within them lies their own infinite possibilities. This is the part of the book where I'm really hitting truth. It's absolute. There's nothing more empowering than knowing what it is, and it's always simple and benign. You're loved. You're all powerful. You can have it. Thoughts become things. To continue in this vein, nothing will free you more than the truth, and nothing will hold you back more than not knowing it. Insist. If you ever get curious and wonder who you were meant to be, look in the mirror and smile. Remember the bobbing eyebrows and Cheshire grin? Your life's purpose is far more a function of being yourself than making clever choices. Your life's purpose is far more a function of being yourself than making clever choices. The pressure we put on ourselves to choose wisely, just be, and make the choices and know that you can't go wrong. The universe once said, whatever it is you wish for, something to the effect of, I forget now, whatever it is you wish for, simply wish for the best for all involved. And particularly if you're praying about somebody else. Wish for the best for all involved. And no matter what happens, know that your wish was granted. Contrary to physical senses, which do not see the whole picture. Next, feeling lost does not mean you are. You're safe in the palm of God's hand. All that you need to have all that you want lies inside of you right now. While the notions of purpose, meanings, and destinies may challenge you, one idea you can always be clear on is that the mind that spun the cosmos together clearly has wishes and dreams all its own that obviously included you. So you may not be sure what your dreams, purposes, destinies are, but you can be sure that you're part of a greater plan. A plan that has always included you and your smile. All is supremely well. Okay, I'm going to call it there. It's been a pleasure and an honor getting to speak with you all of these mornings. Tomorrow's the last day that you can get in on the big bonuses which include joining me live Wednesday night for a free global broadcast, The Dawn of Enlightenment 2020 Old Soul Wisdom. Okay, and tomorrow I'm thinking of doing something I've never done in my 180 tune-ups this year, and that is taking live questions only. So if you feel bold enough, either on Instagram and or Facebook, we'll see how it goes. I'll be answering live questions. Bring your questions, bring your courage. Realize that these are not secret forums, so people will see your question and hear my answer. But I'm game if you're game. And if there's no questions, well, I'm pretty sure there will be. Well, I'm just going to start reading more of my favorite book, A Beginner's Guide to the Universe. Thanks, everyone. Happy Monday. Have an awesome day. The best Monday of your life so far. And I'll see you mañana. Hasta la pronto. Oh, and by the way, Karen and Kelsey and Chris and Kathy and Barbara, dear Barbara, thank you for being with me on Facebook today. And Heidi and Diana, 007, Vivian, author Vivian, yes, on Instagram, La Lota. It's an honor. Fairy lady, glad you're here. Tally ho, amigo. Hasta la pronto.